Next to our presentation, our good friend, Matt Tramel, the Executive Director of Madison's Central Business Improvement District, going to talk about all the important things that are happening at the bid and the partnership between DMI and the bid to create an economically strong, equitable, inclusive, and vibrant downtown Madison to live, work, and visit. Matt, my office mate, it's good to see you.
Well, it's good to see you too, and really appreciate the opportunity to come on and share a little bit about what's going on downtown. Can everybody see my screen? Can anybody see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Okay, just checking. Good. Okay. So, I think this. I'm going to try and get through this relatively quickly. There's a few things I want to share with you. Just kind of a refresher on what the bid is and what we do, and show you some of the numbers that we're seeing really over the past year, as much as I've been here, and then the 2 years prior to that. Tell you a little bit about where we're working to grow and some of the successes that we've had recently, and then talk about something that we're really focused on right now, which is the recertification process that happens in July. And then I'll take any of your questions, but honestly, this is an informal group. You can stop me at any time if you have questions. This is important. This is our board of directors, of course, chaired by my good friend, Peggy Gunderson. And you can see the depth of expertise and experience that we have on this board, including two of our auditors and Jason Ilstrup, of course, non-voting, but of course, very important voices in everything that we do. And really, these positions are prescribed by the city of Madison. They change every 3 years. So if you are interested ever in being on the board of directors in the future, please do let myself or Peggy know. In terms of the full-time staff, myself, as Peggy mentioned, I guess today is I'm a year in, so that actually went very fast. And Tim Jenkwin is our operations director. Many of you know Tim. He has been with the bid for over, I believe, 12 years now. So he's an institutionalist, and he gets things done, and we love him. Chris Gabert is our new events and program manager. She just started about a couple months ago, and she is hard at work programming everything that we're focused on, not only with our larger events, but of course with the State Street Pedestrian Mall. Chris brings really terrific corporate marketing experience to what we do. And so she is really out there kind of meeting a lot of people and creating some new events that we'll be talking about here. Oh, and I should say too that we have roughly 20 volunteer ambassadors, and these are the folks that you see in the information booth and the visitor center who are out there really most every day, especially when the weather is great. So what is the mission of the bid? We are here to increase the vitality and health of the district and promote business within it. That goes in a lot of directions, but it's very important to say that the stakeholders, of course, are the property owners. They are the ones who are going to vote to recertify the bid, and I'll talk a bit about that later. Of course, the business owners who work in those buildings and have the great small businesses that we've known and loved for a very long time, and many of the new ones that are coming in. And of course, the downtown residents and the Madisonians who are coming in and out of the bid every day. So we market the district on an ongoing basis, of course. Our job is to create a welcoming environment, and we work with a lot of city departments to make that happen. We are consistently developing programming to make sure that we're bringing people downtown, not only visitors, but even more importantly, at times, residents of Madison. And then we are in consistent outreach and communication with the issues that are affecting the district, and we work in close partnership with DMI on many of those, and many of those are, of course, the same issues that you work on the Quality of Life Committee, and we work hard to develop community relations with a lot of our partners that I'll talk about in a bit. This is the actual official boundary of the bid, so you'll see that we go all the way down King Street in the first settlement district, and Capitol Square, of course, and the donut, generally known as the donut around the square. And then we, of course, focus on State Street all the way down to Capitol Mall. So let's talk a bit about the profile of the bid. Currently, there's 226 parcels. So in other words, there are 226 property owners. Many of them own multiple properties, as I'm sure you can imagine. In those properties, there's roughly 364 businesses currently, in roughly 390 spaces. And again, as those are first floor retail, that's so I hear Jason say this a lot. It's a really great way to think about it. DMI is really focused on everything above the first floor, particularly when you think about the businesses and the offices downtown. And we're focused really on everything on the first floor, retail, the restaurants, entertainment. And currently, I'm really excited to say that of those spaces, 92.6% of them are occupied. And in fact, that is an occupancy rate that is basically a little bit better than where we were just prior to COVID. What you see below that are 12 new businesses. And frankly, I heard of a couple more the other day. This list is continuously evolving. Those are really new business announcements, new business openings over the past 6 or 7 months. And of course, that changes, often, but as you can see, there's a lot of new businesses coming in. Some of the highlights from last year, 67 public program events. That again, that's a lot of the events that we'll talk about that later, but there's a lot of smaller community partnership events that we host as well. Uh, in those events, 112 of the businesses that are on the street in the bid actually came out and participated in many of those events. 153 participating vendors. Many of those are from the night market, as you know. And again, I'll talk a little bit about that more. But what's exciting about that is those are small businesses, most of the time local to Madison. And of course, we hope those grow to be big businesses and eventually would locate within the bid. 6,857 ambassador to business contacts. Those are times when our ambassadors are out in the district talking face to face with the businesses that are in the district to give them information, to share event posters, to ask what's going on, to really, get to know them as much as possible. 60,000 map guides distributed. I know you see those around town. I think a lot of people think that paper maps are old school and outdated. I can tell you from the advertising that we do on those maps and for how many of them we distribute, they are a valued resource and they are used on an ongoing basis. The event attendees is a large number, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. This is a number in 2023 that we were tracking a little bit differently than we are now. And so you'll see that those numbers go up. So I'll talk a little bit about Placer AI and what that's showing us. And then 49 participating event partners. Those are all of the nonprofits and community partners, city departments that we work with. And this is an important number too. 26,000 times that one of our ambassadors communicated directly with a visitor on the street, helping them to get to businesses, navigate their way around downtown. So here's some of the numbers that I wanted to share to you. Placer AI, if you're not aware, is an advanced foot traffic analytics platform that we're using to really tell us who's on the street at what times, where they're coming from, and a little bit about their demographics. So I think the most important thing to note here is if you look at 2021, 2022, 2023, you see a consistent uptick in the amount of visitors that we are seeing downtown at our events. And so we're happy to see that growth, and we would expect that to continue to increase. We know that our events are driving traffic, and not only do we see them coming downtown for our events, We also know that they are staying for a decent amount of time. Of course, that really is near and dear to, I think, all of our hearts with the downtown, which is not only that they come to an event, but if they're coming to a different event, whether that is the Overture Center offerings and programming, or concerts on the square, that they're spending time downtown, going to the restaurants before and after, the bars, doing a little shopping before and after. So you can see the dwell times that our events are generating. The night market one would seem a little bit low, but what's important to note on that is that there are so many more people at that event that it basically kind of brings the average down a little bit. And then as you can see, Placer AI is also to tell us, kind of not surprisingly, but it does give us real data that show when people are on the street most often during the day, particularly during our events. One other thing that I think is important to note about Placer AI, and you can see the average number of the visitors. Again, these are the events over the past 3 years, so you can see the average visitors for the night market in particular, somewhere around 13,260 versus what the traffic that we're seeing on compare based on any other Thursday. So um, that's obviously a significant driver of people to the street. Um, but it's also important to know, of our other events, are they attracting as many additional people so that we know if we need to make changes and maybe change some things that's what we do. So that's why this information is important, not only to know where we're driving people, but maybe we could find other opportunities to drive people. So I talked about our ambassadors a little bit, earlier, but they really are unsung heroes of everything that we do. And these folks are in the visitor center at Peace Park. They're at the information booth at the top of State Street. And they really are critical in connecting people to the actual businesses. So, and of course, wayfinding, making sure that everybody feels welcomed and that they know, where they're going and that they can answer any questions. We operate a couple welcome programs, importantly for new businesses. So when new businesses come in, we reach out to them in person, provide them with a welcome packet that gives them news and information about what we do and how we are there to help them. Of course, get them signed up for all the communication that we put out, and then during holiday times, we also offer holiday gift bags that we fill with local business coupons and special offerings, which is a really popular program. Those end up on the trolley actually, and everybody loves the trolley downtown at the holidays. So we find that's a good way to continue to connect them with the local businesses on the street. And then as new residents come in, and Jason, I was just talking about this with Tim the other day. This is going to become a larger production as new buildings like Olive come online with roughly 1,000 new residents all at the same time. So let's talk about how we scale this up. The downtown e-gift program is important and continues to grow. And what I really like to do is tell business leaders and organizational leaders like you all who are interested in gifting these to their employees that these are really amazing gifts and they do a lot to help drive economic activity downtown. So you can purchase these for as low as $5, $10, $25, but they really make amazing gifts. And that money, we don't profit from this. We only use the money to operate the program. Almost 100% of it goes right back to the businesses who are participating in this program. It's a great way to really kind of um, share all of the great retailers that we have downtown with the community. If you would like to know more about that, just let myself know, or reach out to Tim Jenquin, or you can find information on our website. Our events and programs are really critical to everything that we do. You know, our goal is to bring people downtown to enjoy everything that it has to offer. We want it to be a welcoming and vibrant place, for all ages. All of our events are family friendly. And we really work hard to activate all the public spaces and that are in the bid, so that we're creating positive uses for those spaces and that the community really has a chance to enjoy them. We focus on being intentionally broad with our programming, again, so that it's for all ages. You know, we work hard to do fun things for the students, who are such a big part of the downtown community. We want to make sure that our events are free, and that they are year round. And so, you know, we know that, of course, January and February are tough months for everybody. But even there, with as we celebrate the Lunar New Year in February, you know, we try to have something happening at all times. And it's a space for all. You know, you'll see some of the programming that we've done recently. Of course, I talked about Lunar New Year last year at our community performance stage, the Madison Night Market, and we had the Ho Chunk storytelling event, Chinese lion dance, Japanese taiko drumming, and really those are some of the most popular programming. You can see the kinds of crowds that those draw. Hip hop downtown. In fact, we're incorporating some more of the hip hop culture, music, and entertainment, including spoken word poetry and comedy, into the pedestrian mall. We'll continue to do that, Hmong Day. So you'll see us continue to do that. And in fact, we love to hear new ideas for new types of events. So please do reach out if you have other ideas of things that we can do downtown. Our community partners are absolutely critical to what we do. A lot of this work happens behind the scenes, but just understand that to produce an event, and the events of scale that we do, it takes a closely coordinated effort with the city, Madison Fire Department, of course, MPD, Madison Parks. You know, and I know a lot of you are familiar with that, but it's important to note the partnership that we have with the city to get these things done. GSSBA, if you're not familiar, is the Greater State Street Business Administration. That really is the voice of the retailers on State Street, and we work with them on events like Maxwell Street Days, and Cars on State. And then, of course, we are in regular communication with the retailers through that organization, so that we're aware of the issues that are facing them. DMI, you're our best friends, so it doesn't need to be said. But we work so closely with Jason and the team on so many of the issues that we work on together with downtown. For Settlement District, you know, again, that's a neighborhood group. CNI, Capital Neighborhoods Group, is another one that we're in communication with at all times, and of course UW. And we focus on Nurse Appreciation Week with them, Parent and Family Weekend, Wisconsin Welcome. The wonderful Kirsten DiMartino is the BID's treasurer, and she has been a great board member and a great voice for UW. So we work hard to keep the community informed. We do that through, you know, earned media, you know, whether it's you know, being on State Street at you know, 6:45 a.m. on the morning show to make sure that everybody knows that Madison Night Market is happening, rain or shine, or reaching out to you know, the local publications that really spread the word about our events. We do that on a consistent basis. We have This number continues to go up, roughly 2,000 subscribers to both a weekly and a monthly newsletter. It's important to know that those are opt-in. So those are our downtown stakeholders, community members who want to know everything that's happening down in BID. And if you'd like to sign up for those, please go to our website and you'll see an immediate pop-up to do that. Roughly 25,000 monthly page views on the website, I would tell you that we plan on, in fact, we're talking right now about rebuilding the website to be a much more active presence for the downtown and a resource. So I would expect those numbers to go up as we do that. 46,000 plus followers on all of our social feeds. We have several of them, including specific Madison Night Market Instagram and Facebook feeds. And then that 550,000 monthly pedestrians. We know that that's the number of people downtown on the streets in the bid. And so those are people really who have a chance to go by the info booth in the visitor center and learn about everything that's going on. Madison Night Market continues to grow, really is our most popular event series. We've had two this year so far, and I'll tell you a little bit about those and the numbers that we saw there. But know that we take July off because there's so many other amazing events in downtown, and it's a big vacation month. We will be back in August, September, and October. We expanded the market this year, so now you see 110 vendors on the street, including 16 food trucks, and we are now up on Carroll and Mifflin streets, and we're really trying to pull more activity up into Capitol Square. And in last year, we saw an average attendance of 15,000 per night market. Again, important to note that that is between the hours of 5 to 9 p.m., so it's a robust presence. But this is what we've seen this year at the night market. Thursday, May 9th, that first night market is important because it's also the Thursday of a graduation weekend. And we do that on purpose because we know that there are so many more families in town, and we really want to provide that entertainment source. That typically is our biggest night market. So this year we saw 21,000 visits at that event. And as you can see, the weather, I actually think it was a little bit better than that. I felt like it was maybe 60 degrees. So I'm not sure when that reading was taken, but it was pretty decent weather. Great crowd. And what typically happens is attendance goes down a little bit in June. And as you can see, attendance in June went up to 23,800 visitors. So again, we know that the events are growing. We know that people are downtown. And again, it's important to know that the 5 Thursdays in between these two markets, the average visits at that same time was 10,725. So again, driving people downtown is what we're trying to do here. You've heard a lot about the pedestrian mall. I've heard recently, that some people were surprised that there wasn't as much activation. Well, what actually happened was the city opened this up about a month before our programming was scheduled to start. That scheduling is robust now, so you're going to see an increased presence not only in Peace Park, on State Street, in Francis Plaza. We have a range of events that are already ongoing that will continue to grow as we get through July, August, September, and October. We're working on some really fun things. Please stay tuned to flocktostate.com. Watch our social feeds, check out our website to find out everything that's going on. As the mayor says, this is an experiment. We certainly hope that it's something that is permanent, long term, and we're going to do everything that we can do to program that space and make sure that it's a fun experience for everybody. And I'd say so far so good, and I think it's going to continue to grow. Shine on Madison, of course, is our holiday event where we really focus on lighting up as much of downtown as our budget allows. We have some great partners on that event. We're always looking for more, but more importantly, it's really kind of a campaign that's essentially from Thanksgiving through New Year's. And we know that that's the most important time for the retailers on the street. And we want to really encourage the community to come down, shop local, eat, drink local, and have a good time during the holidays. It's really the place where you can, that's a busy time for everybody. Come downtown to the bid, State Street, Capitol Square, King Street. You can get most of the things that you need to accomplish done at once. And I talked a little bit about our partners in the community, but we have some important corporate partners and media partners that we work with, including MG&E Foundation, Don's Home Furniture, Steve Brown Apartments, Bubbler. Chapter Madison is a new apartment building that CRG Realty is opening soon. And then we do some partnership agreements with Isthmus and Wisconsin Public Radio, and actually Max Inc. Radio as well now, to really help spread the word about everything that we're doing. A bit about the recertification. So we really are looking forward now to 2025 through 2030. And as you know, Jason and DMI have pointed out, and have been raising awareness for a long time, we're really projected to see another 10,000 new residents in the downtown area by 2030. That is really important to note because that's a condition that so many downtowns would be ecstatic to have coming their way. And so are we. We want to know by looking at foot traffic and trends analysis, what are the kinds of traffic patterns that we're seeing? What kind of things do people want? What type of retail? What type of events? What type of services? Are all of these people, in addition to the existing residents, need, and are they going to need? The pedestrian mall is a great example of that. If this works well, if we continue to try this and work on this, will we see at some point maybe half of State Street, the lower half, turned over to the pedestrians at all times? We hope so, and we're going to work hard toward that. Maybe even eventually the entire length of State Street, but we don't know until we try, and that's what we're working on right now. And of course, we're looking hard to activate different areas of the bid that aren't currently activated. And in fact, the Jeff 3 Plaza, of course, that's the building on King Street, for lack of a better term, kitty corner to the Great Dane. That plaza is actually not in the bid, but it's hiding in plain sight, and we're going to try to activate that hopefully later this year, if not into 2025, with some new events to really get people focused on the King Street side as well. And of course, Capitol Square, we've moved some events over there this year, including Lunchtime Live over to the King Street Walkway. And not our event, but Jazz at 5, we work closely with to coordinate, because of the construction that's going to be happening at the top of the street. They're also coming over to the King Street Walkway. So again, we're really looking for as many opportunities to kind of activate every single inch of the bid, and even bid adjacent places. Digital marketing, I talked about a little bit earlier, but we're going to continue to look for ways to strategically invest in how we raise awareness of the things that are happening in the bid, and importantly, how we're supporting the small businesses and the property owners that are in the bid. So there's much more that you'll see in the months ahead, including a social strategy that we're going to begin to roll out. But we want to use every channel available to us to raise as much awareness as possible. And of course, the Downtown Strategic Visioning Plan, in partnership with DMI, will be a continual focus of the bid. That sets the table for the recertification timeline. If you aren't aware, the bid was established in 1999 by private sector leaders, and every 5 years it has a sunset and needs to be reauthorized by a majority vote of the property owners. So again, 226 parcels. Many of those are owned by larger property groups, Urban Land Interests, of course, ULI, Steve Brown Apartments, Fiore, Hovde, a lot of the Mullins, a lot of the larger names. So they hold a lot of them. And of course, there's many small businesses and small property owner who own their property, and family owners. So we need a 50+1% vote of the votes that come in to reauthorize the bid for another 5 years. Currently in the process of getting an information packet out to all the property owners, which will go out later this week, highlighting much of the things that you're seeing in these slides to really encourage them to obviously vote in favor of another 5 years. And then the votes will go out administered by the city clerk actually on July 1st, next week. And they have a month to return those. Only the ballots that are returned will be part of the vote count in the reauthorization process. So that's it. And now we'll take questions. I hope you have some.
Oh, we will.
And I was
Always
not
have
even
questions.
looking at the chat, Jason, so you're going to have to read them out to me.
Perfect. Perfect. Excellent. Who has well, first of all, thank you, Matt, for your excellent presentation. Very thorough. The work of the bid is so vital and important for the downtown, and they have been longtime partners for 25 years now with us at DMI. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Who has questions for our good friend, Matt? If not, I'll just call on you. So hopefully you have questions. Just kidding. I'm not going to call.
Well, I've got one.
Ron.
Nobody has any yet, so maybe two quick ones. If we're looking at the top of State Street, anything that's happening with building of that, and the second thing that's of a similar nation is with urban land. I'm wondering on Pinckney Street if they're anywhere close to letting people know that they may be redoing that building as well.
I'm gonna let Jason comment on Pinckney Street. I have no knowledge of that. And Ron, I'm sorry, I didn't. You cut out just at the moment. Which project at the top of State were you asking about?
Top of State Street?
You just mean top of State in general?
No, just the very top on State Street are the buildings that have not been redone for the last 4 years. There was no hotel.
Sure. Well, I would say this about top of State in general. And Jason, maybe you can talk about the former MATC space. Again, I think you have more of an update on that. But I would say generally about the area, the Wisconsin History Center is about to put up their construction fencing in July, which means that building is going to be coming down as planned. And they will then begin a 2-year process to build a world-class museum that will be the anchor of the top of State forever going forward. What's even more exciting about that is, we know that from what I've heard, that the capital campaign is going well for the Veterans Museum, and that we believe that they should be in a position to then rebuild their museum as basically, hopefully, when the Wisconsin History Center is opened. I say that to mean that is going to change the face of top of State Street. And while I do know that there have been some pauses and delays in some of the properties around that I believe that you're talking about, which I think would be like 122 State, which is the 8-story building. And there've been talk about would that eventually be condos and apartments with first floor retail. While those are delayed or for now, I do believe that the market dynamics are going to be such over the next few years that the 100 block of State Street is going to be the hottest block in the state. That is what I believe. Jason, MATC and any other updates that you have would be great.
Yeah, and I think a little more on the Veterans Museum, and they're moving closer. They've actually, have the money to purchase the building. They're hoping to have funding for this project in the next biennium budget that 27-29 that is being worked on now by the governor's office and the legislature. So we're very positive on what's going to happen at the Veterans Museum. Very positive. We're hearing good things. On the 122, obviously, McCormick has a project in the works right now. I haven't talked to them in a little bit about where we are with that project. Again, Matt mentioned condos and apartments. I don't know exactly where that is today, but we're hopeful that something will happen in that block. And then MATC site, NCG is delayed by a year on a project there, but something will happen there. I think NCG will have their project will move forward here. Hopefully construction will start next year. On the Pinckney site, the last I heard from ULI is they are still actively engaged in the site. And I believe they are sort of reviewing the mix of what the usages in that building will be, and that might help move that building forward. But I think there's more to be seen on that Pinckney block, or also known as the American Exchange project, based off the American Exchange Bank, which will remain in the building that goes in around it. So I think they're evaluating usages now.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I didn't know I would be taking questions. I wouldn't have offered question and answer. I mean, just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'll take
I have
anything.
I have a question for
boy,
Matt.
Julie. Is it for Matt or for me?
Matt, so those are all awesome things that the bid supports. I don't really understand how much the bid gets involved in advocacy and also in issues that may be problematic for bid members. You know, kind of where that line is. And Jason doesn't have to say a word. You can answer that whole question.
Thank you, Julie. So I think this distinction is important. We focus on some of the public issues and safety and security issues a little bit more behind the scenes than DMI does, but understand that we are in regular communication with MPD on any of the issues that may be happening on State Street or the Square or King Street. You know, we on some of the other policy advocacy issues, whether it be a lot of the things you talk about on these calls, quality of life, we are kind of the an extension of what DMI does. They are out there, you know, advocating in a much bigger way than we would be publicly. But just understand that we basically filter up any of the challenges that are coming from the small business community and the property owner community up to any of the city agencies that can help us address those issues. Of course, and then we also work closely with Dane County. I do a bad job with the Dane County Health Department names. With Dane County Health on the issues related to sexual violence through the Safer Bars program, and many of the other, you know, issues that the Isthmus Safety Initiative is focused on. We're kind of an extension geographically to some of the things that DMI is working on. And in fact, right now, we're working on a project, the Smart Growth Initiative, that we've been plugged into. Smart Growth, if you don't know, is kind of the newer term for SEPTED and
safe growth. Smart, not smart growth.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Safe growth, which formally is kind of known as SEPTED, which is crime prevention through environmental design. We're working with DMI and some of the other city agencies to really look at some of the places in for us in the bid in particular, like Mifflin Plaza, otherwise known as Philosopher's Grove at the top of State, to see what we could do to better activate that space using statistics from the police department, understanding, you know, new methods to kind of make those, you know, either better lit or better programmed, or, you know, just understanding where the places are in the bid that we can focus on through data and information and strengthen those places for the better health of the entire community. So we're a little bit kind of behind the scenes on a lot of that, but just understand that we are working pretty much in lockstep with DMI and many of the downtown agencies who focus on those issues.
Thank you. That was extremely helpful.
Can I just add one thing to that, Julie, that I think is important to note? There's a significant amount of crossover between members of, that are members of DMI and folks in the bid. So I chair quality of life for DMI and then chair the bid, and there's many others that are involved. And that helps, right? So that if there's certain things that one can't, you know, we're in communication between many members of both.
Yeah, makes total sense, Peggy. Thank you. And Matt, we say PHMDC. Because we talk
Funny
about them
you
a
say
lot.
that, Julie. Julie, though, I was
Public
like,
so
Health,
bad.
Public Health,
Yeah.
Madison, Dane County,
That's,
PHMDC.
I need to learn that acronym. That seems easier.
I
Well,
was
no
on
one
a
will
call,
know what you're
Julie,
talking
though.
about unless they deal with
They say
but
that.
just for the insiders, it's.
I was on a call and they told me I wasn't supposed to call it PHMDC anymore. I was supposed to call it Public Health Madison Dane County. And I was like, oh, that's a lot more of a mouthful. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, I'm just saying that's
Yeah.
like the insider, like
Easy.
shorthand.
Okay.
Yes, we should use the full name when we're talking with people who
Sure.
don't.
Maybe
know the
that's what it
acronym.
Julie, I wasn't supposed to talk with this one, but I will. As you know, Julie, as a member of
I
the
am.
board of our I like to talk. As you know, as a member of the DMI board, but some of those that are not members of the DMI board here, we are currently working on a deeper partnership between different organizations in the downtown. So how we can all more effectively advocate on behalf of all of our different members. So I think that's an initiative that's going quite well, and we're deep into that work. But Julie, you did know that. I just want to make sure that the whole group knows that as well. So. Oh, I'm sorry. I am the MC though. More questions. So I do need to talk. Other questions? Well, all right. Matt, thank you again. Peggy, as chair of the bid, Emily, your team, both Kirsten is a member of the bid, there's just a bid board. There's just so many members here that are part of the team. We're just so thankful for all that the bid does. It's such an important part of downtown, and we are going to do everything we can to help with the recertification of the bid starting here in just a couple of days as the vote goes out. This is critically important for downtown, and DMI zealously supports the recertification of the Business Improvement District. And Matt, we are so excited about your 1-year anniversary. It's been a fantastic year, and here's to many more years to come. When I get into the office in 30 minutes, we'll have a celebration, some balloons, maybe some confetti, all the rest.
Coffee, please.
Oh, well, I can do that. I'm the one that knows how to brew the coffee, so I'm on it. Perfect.
Well, no,
Excellent.
thank you, Jason, and thank you everybody for having me on. And please reach out with any questions or anything I can help you with.